the earlier class, we have seen the state space model for isolated system or single area system. So you know the importance of state space model. See, for the design of ALFC, we require optimum linear regulator so that to meet the objectives such as faster response and stability, we require to design optimum linear regulator. So for this, we have to transfer all the ALFC equations in state variable form. See, we have represented all the ALFC equations for all the components in your speed governor system, in your automatic load frequency control system. So all these have to be represented in states variable form. See, we have developed the differential equation for all the components in single area system. For example, if you recall, for generator, here we have the transfer function of the generator is equal to output by input. Output signal for generator is delta f of s by input signal is summing of these two, delta pt of s minus delta pd of s. Similarly, the transfer function of the turbine and governor we had obtained, and we had finally obtained the differential equations in frequency domain, and we had obtained the state space model. Similarly, now we have to obtain for two area system. So we will have a similar analysis. Only thing here, we have more variables because we have two area system. See, in single area system, we had 4 variables. See, these were the signals, output signal for the generator, output signal for the turbine, and the speed governor and the integrator controller. So we had 4 variables when you had a single area system. If you had a 2 area system, you will have 9 variables, because in addition to 4 variables for 2 area system plus 4 variables for area 1, then in addition to this we will have one more parameter, that is change in the power flow in the tie line or the transmission line, which is connecting these 2 areas, that is delta PTI. So is it clear how we are getting 9 variables? In case of single area system, there were 4 variables. Whereas now if you consider 2 area system, we have plus 4 variables, similar variables in area 2, plus the power flow in the transmission line, delta PDI also has to be included. So totally we will have 9 variables. Okay, so here the state space vector, like you have obtained in the earlier case for single area system, we will write the state space vector, which will be delta F1, delta PT1, delta PV1, delta P reference 1, that is with respect to area 1. See, these are respectively the output parameter for generator, turbine, then speed governor and the integral regulator. Then this is delta PI is the signal, that is power flow in the tie line, which is connecting area 1 and area 2. Now other 4 variables similar to area 1, we will have delta F2, delta PT2, delta PV2, delta P reference 2. So you know that delta P reference is the output signal of the integral controller. Okay, so that is delta P reference. So you know that this is the output, this is the secondary controller, that is your integral controller. Okay, so now we will have the 9 variables in the state space vector. Analysis remains same. Now the state space vector is 9 cross 1 vector. From the block diagram, we can write the following equations. See, here the block diagram already we have obtained for 2 area system. So with respect to this, we have to write the equations. So 4 equations for area 1 already you have obtained. In the case of single area system or isolated system. Similarly, we have to write for 2 area system from the diagram which is shown in area 2. Okay, now, so here we have delta F1 of S is the differential equation in frequency domain for the generator. You know that for the generator, output signal is change in the frequency. So this equation already we have obtained for single area system. So I have rewritten here. So finally you have to arrange such that you will get S into delta F1 of S, that is the differential equation in S domain for the generator. So you should have S into delta PV1 of S. So after this is your output signal with respect to the transfer function of the block diagram here. So after getting the transfer function, you arrange such that you will get S into delta F of S. This is the differential equation in S domain for the generator. So this we had obtained earlier. Now here we will have one more parameter, that is with respect to change the power flow in the transmission line. Okay, so that's what you have written here. Now with respect to equation 2, that is for the differential equation for the turbine. So you will have from the block diagram, you have transfer function equal to output by input. Okay, so delta PT1 by delta P1 is equal to this transfer function. So from that you will get the second equation arrange such that you will get S into delta PT1 of S. You know that delta PT1 of S is the output signal for the turbine. So S into delta PT1 of S you have to obtain, which is the differential equation for the turbine. Like that you have to arrange. Similarly for the speed governor, you know that PV1 of S, PV1 change in the power flow, output valve is, that is delta P1 is the output signal. So finally after writing the output signal equation, that is transfer from the block diagram, transfer function is equal to output by input, you arrange such that you will get the differential equation in frequency domain. See, like you have done in the earlier case. Similarly, this is for the integral controller. Integral controller, you know that the output signal is changed in the reference value, that is the speed changer setting. So we have got the 4 differential equation first, that is for the first area. Now for the similarly you will have to obtain for the second area. So here for the second area, before we start for the second area, you have to consider for the transmission line or the tie line. See, this is the expression we have modeled earlier for the tie line. From this equation, write S into this so that you will get differential equation in S domain or frequency domain. So this equation already you have obtained from the block diagram. Okay, so this already you have obtained. So from this we are writing transfer function is equal to output by input. Okay, now we completed, this is for the transmission line. Next, similarly we will have for the area 2. See, till now we completed for area 1 and then tie line, then for area 2. So similarly for area 2 you will have 4 parameters like you have written for area 1. So that is delta F2, delta PT2, then delta PV1 and delta P reference 2. So you will get a similar equations, that is delta F2 of S equal to this. Okay, so like as you obtained in the area 1 stuff, similarly you get frequency domain differential equations S into delta F2 S, you will arrange, so you will get this equation. Similarly for turbine in area 2, you get the differential equation for the turbine in S domain, then differential equation for the speed governor, so you get in S domain. So this analysis similar to what you have done in case of area 1, only here suffix 2 represents it is for area 2. Okay, so similarly finally the 9th equation is the differential equation for the integral controller in area 2 P delta P reference to in S domain. So you will get this equation. So like you have obtained in area 1, we have done for area 2. Okay, now here we have equations 1 to 9, which are the state equations. Now we can express these in time domain in the standard form. You have x dot of t equal to ax of t plus b into u of t. So as you obtained in single area system. But only thing here you will have more terms. See here your state space vector will be having 9 cross 1 vector. So you have 9 variables. So respective variables are x1 will be delta f1 of s, x2 will be delta pt1 of s, x3 will be delta pv1 of s, x4 delta p reference 1 of s. You are following these suffix 1 represent for area 1. Next, tie line. Delta P1 to X5 variable will be with respect to the tie line. That is change in the power flow in the transmission line. Then next 6, X6, X7, X8, X9 will be for area 2. So you will have respective parameters now only with suffix 2, delta F2 of S, delta PT2 of S, delta PV2 of S, delta P reference 2 of S. See, only change you are seeing into area system is here you will have 9 variables, whereas in area 1 it was only 4 parameters. So in addition to these 4 parameters, fifth X5 will be with respect to the tie line, power flow in the tie line. Okay. Now you know that standard form of state space model is given by x dot of t equal to ax of t plus bu of t, y of t equal to cx of t plus du of t, like you did the analysis in case of single area system. Now equations 1 to 9, what you have written here, the frequency domain differential equations, what you have written 1 to 9, you have to write in time domain, that is in this form. So you will have x dot of t, which is equal to delta f1 dot, delta pt1 dot, delta pv1 dot, delta p reference 1 dot, delta p12 dot, delta f2 dot, delta pt2 dot, etc. But you know that this will be 9 cross 1 vector. Okay, like this here I have shown x dot of t, this will be respectively s into delta f1 of s, s into delta pt2. So you know that this dot represents, it is Laplace transformation in frequency domain. Now if you write x dot of t, it will be 9 cross 1 vector, or I have written here like this, it is transpose of this. It is same as it is x dot of t is 9 cross 1 vector. Okay, so I have written since the space problem, so I have written like this. It is transpose of this, which is equal to 9 cross 1 vector. Okay, now after this you have to write this constant a, that will be of this form. How do we write this? This is from your these equations, these 9 equations. So you are arranging these 9 equations in terms of x dot of t equal to ax of t plus bu of t, where x of t already have represent a constants. You have to see the equations, differential equations, and we have written. See, like here in case of area 1 you had written, okay, so these, see here area 1 you had a simple matrix because you had only 4 parameters, but here we have 9 parameters. So your equation A will be having so many terms with respect to the equations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these, of course, this A into x of t, ax of t plus b into u of t. Okay, so we have arranged in the matrix form. Okay, so where b will be equal to this, again this also will be 9 cross 1 vector. Since space will be more, I have written this as transpose of this, so you will have 9 variables. So this we have written as per the equations we have obtained. Okay, so as per the equations we have obtained, 1 to 9 equations we have written. Okay, then where u of t equal to input vector, that is, you know, input vector is if a change in the load demand with respect to area 1, then change the load demand in the area 2, that is PD2. So you will have only this one. So remaining options will be 0. Again, this also will be 9 cross 1 vector. So I have written as this transpose of this. So output vector will be what? So for area 1, change in the frequency signal. Similarly, for area 2, change the frequency signal. So delta F2, suffix 2 represents it is for area 2. So again, since space problem, so I have written this as transpose. So all these will be 9 cross 1 vector. So this is how we obtain the state space model of 2 area system. Okay. So is it clear? Yes. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So only thing here we have more variables, but the analysis is same way we have done. If you understand for single area system, you can easily do for 2 area system. So this is the last part of your module 3. That is for module 3, state space representation of single area system was the last part, whereas in module 4, first 20% will be state space model for 2 area system together with this constraints. So there are so many issues in the implementation of AGC, so that we have to discuss now. There are so many issues in the implementation of automatic generation control, that is AGC. See, we know that always the automatic generation controller should operate such that the generation and demand should be balanced in the power system, so that the frequency deviation should be minimum. But there are certain issues related to AGC implementation, so that let us discuss today. So the first one is response of different controls and supervisory control and data acquisition. So we have so many controllers in the system. So these are the what are the issues with respect to this? Let us see. So you know that in modern power system we have AGC, SCADA, security controller, and load management. So these are the major functions of the energy management system. Under normal condition, small frequency deviation can be controlled using primary governor control. But under this condition, what happens? The tie line power flow will be different from the scheduled values. Now, if you look at the diagram below here, it is the variation of frequency with respect to time. So I have shown for 2 events. See, okay. See, in the event 1, primary controller will act. Okay. So there is a deviation due to some disturbance. There is change in the load. Due to some disturbance, there is deviation in the frequency. You can see that frequency is dropping. So your primary controller will act and see that it will stabilize. See, you are seeing that frequency is almost stabilized. Then next supplementary control will act. That means your integral controller. We want the frequency deviation to be 0. So for that, your supplementary controller will act after the action of primary controller, where it stabilizes the frequency. Still we want the frequency deviation to be 0. Then supplementary controller will act and sees that it will be stabilized. But you can see that after event 2, there is a drastic drop in the frequency. Now, to balance the generation and demand, we have to go for load shedding. So the action of load shedding is required to help the system that it should recover the frequency. So these are the problems. See, this is first issue when you are implementing the automatic generation controller. So various controllers, supervisory controller, data acquisition also have to take part quickly. So this is one issue. Then we have second one is participation factor. Participation factor, that is, which indicates the amount of participation of a generator unit in the AGC. AGC represents automatic generation controller. The supplementary controller signal is distributed among the generating units with AGC in proportion to their participation factor to make the generation follow the load. So always the generation and the load demand should be balanced. So participation factor is also very important. So the supplementary control signal is distributed among all the generating units. You know that in the generating units we have, in addition to primary controller, we have supplementary controller also, which will be distributed among the generating units with AGC in proportion to their participation factors to see that the generation and the load should be balanced. So we have third constraint, that is generation rate constraints. See, it is the physical constraint on the rate of change of power generation due to the limitation of thermal and mechanical movements. See, for any disturbance, we cannot expect the system to go for change for a large percentage. See, it is seen that it is different for different types of power plants. It is seen that the power generation can change only at a specified maximum rate. For thermal generation, it is seen that typical values are 2 to 4% per minute, because you know that in case of thermal generation we have boilers for any change in the generation for depending upon the load demand, to bring a single unit into the system, it takes 3 to 4 hours. So maximum change you can expect is about 2 to 4% per minute. Whereas for diesel plants, it is 40% per minute. It is seen that diesel plants, they are mainly used for peak load plants. So especially at a sudden the increase in the load demand, diesel plants are very good. They can take power generation in terms of percentage, it is 40% per minute. Similarly, for gas turbine plants, it is around 20%. Whereas for hydel power plants, it is 100%. The rate of change in power output of generating units with AGC must be sufficient to meet the purpose of AGC. So we have one more factor, that is governor deadband. See, when the input signal to the speed governor changes, the governor does not react until the input reaches a specified value. So you know that for any change in the speed disturbance or load demand, we expect the governor also should act immediately. But until that change in the reference position reach a particular value, the governor does not act. So this is called as speed governor deadband. The effect of the governor deadband on the AGC operation is to increase the apparent steady state frequency regulation. See, this frequency regulation should be very small. As per IEEE standard specification, maximum deadband of 0.06% for a governor of large steam turbines. See, for steam turbines, it is slightly more as per IEEE standard, whereas for hydraulic turbines, it is 0.02%. This value should be small so that speed governor should act fast and it should respond to the change in the system. So we have one more issue, that is with respect to ACE, that is area control error. So filtering of area control error. See, it is seen that the system need not respond to the automatic generation control programs. See, we use a filter. See, it should not respond for random change. See, what the filter will do is it will smooth out the area control error action, and also the communication delays also are possible, which when they are receiving the telemeter tie line flows and measured frequency and in communicating control signals to the generating units. Okay, so there will be delay in the communication even in the telemeter tie line flows. So this is also one more issue when you are implementing the automatic generation control. So we have the last issue, that is frequency in AGC application. The stability of units with AGC and their ability to react to chasing AGC is influenced by phase lags in the input system quantities and in the transmission of its control signals. So you have seen that always there will be a delay in receiving the signals, telemeter tie line flows, measured frequency, and in communicating also these control signals onto the generating units. So the frequency is also one of the parameters that is affecting. So it is seen that AGC execution once every 2 to 4 seconds. When you observe the frequency of AGC application, AGC execution for once every 2 to 4 seconds is found to produce a good performance. Okay, so these are the various issues in the implementation of automatic generation control.